Hello, folks. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Bob Jakes. I am with Yes Reports. And today I'm really happy to have Brian Melendez from Keep Up Marketing Agency based out of Southington, Connecticut, with us today. Brian, say hi to the audience.
How you doing, everybody? Thanks for tuning in.
Brian, you told me a story the other day about Joe Rogan. How he made last month, he made $100 million on top of everything else he makes. He deserves it. I know him from the UFC, or I watch the UFC, and he's a smart gentleman. He deserves it. Could you tell the audience how last month in one transaction, on top of everything else he makes, he made $100 million?
So I'll give some context into what it is. This way people are not commenting on here. You know, they always got the trolls. So let's really map it out and tell them exactly what it is. So, for instance, when you hear last month he made $100 million, you know, we don't know the specifics of the deal. I heard about it last month, so we might have got it last month in April. Who knows? Within the past couple months, he closed the deal. And also, as far as the $100 million, I don't think that they just deposited $100 million into his bank account. I think it's a deal over maybe 3 or 4 years, and then they're probably going to renegotiate or something like that. So it could be, you know, $25 million a year for 4 years or something like that. But regardless, it's a deal that's going to end up being $100 million. So just for the trolls out there, I know there's going to be people nitpicking like, well, that was in April, not last month. And I just figure I'd give some context. But basically, the way that he was able to do that is by providing very valuable free content. He's not sitting on there like, hey, guys, buy my supplements that's going to get you jacked, even though he's like a UFC guy. He's like providing real value. He's getting amazing guests like Elon Musk and Dan Pena and all these amazing people on there. And he's just asking the hard questions. He's not afraid to, you know, question these super rich and successful people on like, hey, I heard about this scandal. What's up with that? And he's like just being a real guy, just asking real questions and providing real value. And I think that that's what people resonate the most with him about, because he's not, like I said, trying to sell you something. He's not being fake, and he's not afraid to ask the questions to these people. He's willing to push them and tell them, no, I don't think that that's how it went. You know, he's willing. He's not just a yes man. And I think the things that he talks about, getting Elon Musk to smoke weed on his YouTube show, like all of these different things draw major attention. So like these are the things that he does to basically get people to stay tuned. And he built up a very loyal following of people because he's not trying to have this ultimate goal of, hey, I want something now. He's basically just providing a lot of free value. And again, for the trolls, I'm not saying he never sells anything, but in any of the episodes that I've ever seen, there's not a beginning like, hey, here's my merchandise, or at the end, it doesn't end up happening like that. So for anybody who's like, oh, Joe Rogan has his own clothing, I've never seen him pitch it on the show. So he's not doing that on a consistent basis. But for the most part, he's just providing free value. And I think that, you know, if you do that and you give people real value that they can actually use, you'll be able to do the same exact thing. But the problem is a lot of people just give up beforehand. Now, granted, it was a lot easier for him because he was the Fear Factor guy. He was a comedian. He did all these other things. So it was a lot easier for him to have a successful podcast and get people to listen to him. But, you know, the base of what he's doing is just providing real free value and not just letting people get away with their crap and questioning on that. And I think that that's what people like the most about him and his podcast.
So he does podcasts, and they're on YouTube and they're on iTunes.
Yeah, as far as I know, yeah.
And the deal he made with Spotify was to take all that content and future content and move it to Spotify.
Exactly, yeah.
And I went online and did some research. Do you realize that Spotify is going to pay Joe Rogan $100 million for that deal?
Yeah, absolutely. It's crazy.
48 hours. The value of Spotify's stock. Did you hear about this?
Oh, yeah.
The value of Spotify's stock went up $5 billion. That's billion with a B.
Yeah, yeah. It's going to grow even more.
100 million? 48 hours later, the value of this stock went up $5 billion. So smart move on both parties' part.
Well, Yes, it is, because there's never been a deal like that for podcasts. But best believe, after him seeing what happened with Spotify, when this contract is up, he's going to be renegotiating or going somewhere else. I'll tell you that. And there's going to be people who probably sign billion-dollar contracts in 10 years for podcasts, because, again, a lot of people are like, oh, content and podcasts and this and that. You want to know what really it is? It's really just comes down to one thing. It's just information. And do you want to know what information is? It's value. It's very valuable. That's why colleges get rich. That's why online education is booming. So really, that's all podcast and content really is. It's just information. So information is very valuable, and people are going to be getting way more than 100 million in the years to come. 5, 10 years from now, you're going to see it. Mark my words. Go back and watch this video and be like, oh, he predicted it. So let me tell you, a lot of people, even in other industries, so you have these basketball players who sign shoe deals, like LeBron got his own shoe, and you got Jordans, okay? Jordan's an even more perfect example, okay? So they do all these things with these athletes and the rappers, even like 50 Cent with Vitamin Water. They'll give them 100 million, like 50 Cent got like 100 million to market Vitamin Water, turned it into like $1 billion company, okay? They didn't like sit there and, pitch it as, oh, guys, look, it has vitamins. It showed this guy like Jack working out, like this is what I do in the gym. Like it was a lifestyle brand that they made. And then that's how they made Vitamin Water pop. He got 100 million, turned it into a multi-billion-dollar brand, okay? Same thing with Jordans. I don't exactly know the numbers of Jordan, but let me tell you, I looked at his net worth. It was only like $1 or $2 billion. Jordan makes billions and billions and billions of dollars, way more than Michael Jordan has. So between all the endorsements he has, his basketball career, and then Jordan's, this guy should be sitting on at least 10, 15 billion dollars, but he only has 1 or 2 billion. So what does that tell you? The shoe company that he partnered with basically gave him like, hey, I'll give you 500 million, or I'll give you 50 cents or $5 for every shoe that we sell, or something like that. When really Jordan could have literally started his own shoe brand himself and made all of the money himself. Now, granted, he might have wanted a partner so he doesn't have to deal with all that, but the deal that he got was absolutely ridiculous for the amount of money that he has now, the amount of money that he should have over all these years with Jordan's being one of the most dominant shoe brands in the world. So you have to really evaluate, what people are doing in the market. Joe Rogan's in uncharted territory. So you really don't know what people should be getting for podcasts. People are not getting 100 million for podcasts, so it's a good deal for him just to sit there, smoke weed, and talk to people all day. It's not a bad deal. But best believe he's going to end up renegotiating that deal in the future. And I don't know if any rappers or athletes are going to be watching this, but for anybody that knows one that might get a deal like that, make sure you bring them back and have them watch this video, because they might sign their life away for 50 or 100 million dollars when really it's worth a lot more. So it's something to really think about and consider for the future if you're in that kind of a position.
I don't know about you, but Brian, but hats off to Michael Jordan.
Oh, of course.
To Joe Rogan.
Oh, yes. It's a lot of money.
I just want to clarify something, okay?
Yeah.
Joe Rogan wasn't on the show smoking pot, was he?
Of course he was, yeah.
Really?
He does it all the time. Yeah, all the time.
I'm shocked.
Yeah.
Okay. So, hats off to Joe Rogan. Awesome guy. Hats off to Michael Jordan. We're talking about money.
Yeah.
Can you make money with this industry?
Are you talking about podcasts or digital marketing or?
Digital marketing.
Yeah. So technically, I'll answer your question. You can make money with both. The only difference is with podcasts, it's going to be a little bit different and a lot slower. So you're going to want to move your podcast to YouTube if it's on like Facebook or something. Right now, we're transitioning ours to private Facebook groups, and it's the same thing with YouTube. So Facebook pages are not the best place to have podcasts, and that's where we put a lot of ours, because having a YouTube channel to do it successfully takes a lot of work. So that's why we haven't started a full YouTube channel, because you got to create thumbnails, type in all this stuff, and YouTube SEO, and it's just the process. People are going to, compared to the other content out there, it's just a lot for what we're doing right now. But we're going to transition all of our stuff from Facebook into private Facebook groups, and I'm going to tell you why. Same thing goes for like YouTube, and I'll get into how to make money with digital marketing as well in a second. But I want to touch on the podcast a little more since we're already on that topic. If you're doing your own independent podcast, one of the best reasons to do it on YouTube is because once you have 1,000 subscribers and then you have X amount of views, you'll be able to start making money from YouTube. So having your podcast on there, you're not going to be making 100 million like Joe Rogan, but getting even a YouTube check for $100. I remember my first check from digital marketing was like $200. And to me, that could have been $1 million. I was so happy. I was like 25 years old. I was like, oh my gosh, I actually made money with it. Like they weren't lying. And like it was just, it's amazing. So like making money with YouTube, I'll probably have that same exact feeling. Although I make way more with digital marketing now, getting even $100, $50 from YouTube is just I'm gonna look at a check from YouTube like that's pretty cool. So I don't want to really, go on YouTube until I can really do it. But YouTube is a great way to make money and, well, just a little extra income. Unless you have a big platform, then you can make a lot of money. Like these rappers that get hundreds of millions of views, they're getting pretty decent sized checks from YouTube. Not compared to what the big checks are that they get from labels and whatnot and shows, but it's still pretty big checks compared to the average person. Now, another way that you can make money from your podcast, when you have a YouTube channel, you're going to end up bringing a lot of people who are interested in what you have to say. They're going to be learning from you, similar to your students. And then after you've provided enough value, you're going to be able to sell to them. But you have to do it in a very strategic way. You don't want to be selling on every single time. You don't want to be cheesy. Like Gary Vaynerchuk has something that he calls jab, 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 right hook. And it's basically give, and then ask. So basically give a bunch of value and then you can end up asking for them to buy something. So it's basically the same concept with YouTube. Basically provide a bunch of value. You're going to find a lot of people who like what you have to say, who are your fans, who are interested in doing what you do maybe. And if you have something to sell, at some point you're going to have fans who are willing to support you and believe in you and want to buy what you have. So that's another great way to do it, which is actually why we're transitioning all of our stuff to paid Facebook groups, because it's the same concept. So I can throw virtual events in these groups that people have to join. And then when they join, what I'll be able to do is say, enter your name, email, and what you hope to get out of this group. Then I'll be able to see people. Then I'll build my email list. I'll have their names and their email. And then I'll be able to ask, what are they trying to get out of this group? And then when I see I have 200 people in the group or 1,000 people in the group, and then I see I'm getting the same 5 to 7 things over and over and over, then I can make sure I cater certain content around there and post that all the time. How to get customers for free, how to do Google ads, how to do XYZ. And this is a great way to cater to your audience. And a lot of people don't know about this. And that's why they're just kind of doing everything everywhere. But a free Facebook group is incredible. But at some point, when you've built up a certain, to a certain level, you'll be able to do paid Facebook groups as well, where you have much more in-depth content. But a great way to get these people to these groups is to give you free value and say, hey guys, look, I'm hosting a free event. How to get 10 clients a week or 10 meetings a week organically, no ad spend, free event. Just go join my group. They go, just enter their email and what they want, and then they're in, and that's it. And you do a bunch of other things like that, provide other value and whatnot, and you're going to get a lot of people in there. So yes, you can make money from podcasts and videos like that. It's not going to be 100 million like Joe Rogan off the bat. You definitely have to take into account that he was a comedian and he did all of these other things first. But it is something that you could do, and I don't want you to get discouraged because you're not going to make 100 million, because even extra $500 a month coming in, or students buying stuff from you periodically from finding you on YouTube or in your groups, is basically going to pay you just as if it was a regular job. So don't get discouraged because you're not making $100 million off the rip. Now, as far as digital marketing, that is a whole different beast other than making videos and podcasts and whatnot. So I'll explain. Go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Let's save that for part 4.
I got you. Yeah, absolutely. I feel we want to try to keep these episodes short, like you said.
So, folks, come back and look for part 4. Brian, how do anybody gets in touch with you if they want some questions answered about your industry?
They can email me at brian@keepupmarketingagency.com. They can go to my website, keepupmarketingagency.com, and just fill out our form, or you can call me directly at 860-261-8252.
So Brian, in our next episode number 4, is going to give some value and value-added free information to you.
So what I'll do, I'm going to give free value as to how they can get started in digital marketing. And I remember a while ago you asked me if I can give any insight as to how people can get results with digital marketing, like a free campaign or something like that. So I'm going to try to squeeze both of those into another 15-minute episode for you. So if anybody's watching this and they want to learn how they can make money with digital marketing, watch this, because I'm going to tell you exactly what you can do to make that happen.
Folks, thank you very much for being with us today. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Brian, thank you, buddy, for being with us today.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Folks, come back for episode number 4 in the next week or so, and Brian's going to be giving out some free information that will help you out. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Take care.